Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, not once, not twice, but 3 or 4 times, just to use the bathroom? If you nodded your head, you're not alone. For many older adults, waking up at night because of frequent urination, what doctors call nocturia, is more than just a nuisance. It interrupts your rest, drains your energy, and leaves you feeling groggy and irritable the next day. But here's the good news: nature has some simple, gentle ways to help. And believe it or not, just 3 humble fruits, eaten regularly, could make a world of difference in reducing those nightly bathroom trips and helping you enjoy deeper, more refreshing sleep. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which fruits can support your bladder health, balance your body, and ease your nights into peaceful rest. Before we dive into the details, let me pause to invite you to be part of this journey. If you're someone who values natural ways to age gracefully and wants practical, trusted advice on senior health and wellness, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel and stay connected. Every week, we share guidance that's designed to bring comfort, clarity, and confidence to your everyday life. Now, let's gently return to the heart of our topic. When you think of fruits, you might imagine sweetness, freshness, maybe even a sense of vitality. They're nature's gift to us, packed with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and gentle fibers that nourish every cell in our body. But what's fascinating is that certain fruits also have unique properties that directly influence bladder control, kidney function, and even the hormones that regulate our sleep. It's a reminder that food is not just fuel, it's medicine, comfort, and healing wrapped up in flavor. Hippocrates, often called the father of medicine, once said, "Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food." Even though he spoke those words thousands of years ago, they still hold true today. Especially when it comes to the delicate balance of rest and recovery in our later years. Think about how important sleep is. It's not just about closing your eyes and passing the time until morning. Sleep is when your body repairs itself. Your heart slows down, your blood pressure settles, your brain clears out waste, and your muscles rebuild strength. Without good sleep, every part of your body feels the strain. And yet, something as simple as an overactive bladder at night can rob you of that healing process. I've spoken with countless older adults who tell me, "I can fall asleep just fine, but I keep waking up again and again." It leaves them feeling anxious at bedtime, wondering how many hours of rest they'll actually get. The cycle can feel endless. But here's where making small, thoughtful changes in your diet, like adding certain fruits, can help restore a sense of peace. Before I reveal the first fruit, let's pause for a moment and think about the bigger picture. Many of us grew up in a time when food was simple, seasonal, and unprocessed. Our grandparents didn't have fancy supplements or complicated diets. They had gardens, orchards, and farmers' markets. They relied on what nature provided, and in many ways, that kept them healthier than we sometimes are today. There's a quiet wisdom in going back to those roots, literally and figuratively. When we lean on natural, wholesome foods, our bodies often respond with gratitude. The first fruit I want to talk about is cherries, particularly tart cherries. Now, this might surprise you, but tart cherries are one of the richest natural sources of melatonin, the very hormone your body produces to regulate sleep. Melatonin is like the conductor of your sleep orchestra. It signals to your body that it's time to rest, time to drift into those deeper stages where true healing happens. Several studies, including research published in the Journal of Medicinal Food, have shown that tart cherry juice can improve sleep duration and quality, especially in older adults who struggle with insomnia. But here's where it connects beautifully with nocturia. When your sleep hormones are balanced, your bladder tends to calm down as well. You're not as restless, your muscles, including those in your urinary tract, relax more fully, and the urge to get up in the middle of the night eases. I once spoke with a retired teacher who told me she started eating a small bowl of tart cherries in the evening, and within 2 weeks, she noticed she was waking up 1 or 2 fewer times each night. She didn't expect a miracle, but she was amazed at how much more refreshed she felt in the morning. The difference wasn't just physical, it was emotional, too. She said, "I finally feel like I can enjoy my mornings again, instead of dragging myself out of bed." That's the kind of change a simple fruit can bring. Of course, cherries aren't always in season, and I know many of you may not have easy access to fresh ones year-round. But frozen tart cherries or unsweetened tart cherry juice can work just as well. The key is consistency, making it part of your routine, like a gentle ritual before bed. Imagine ending your evening with something sweet, knowing it's not only a treat but also a step toward deeper rest. Now, while cherries work beautifully on the sleep hormone side, the second fruit addresses something just as important, bladder health itself. And that fruit is blueberries. Yes, those tiny, deep blue gems that stain your fingers are packed with antioxidants, especially compounds called anthocyanins, that protect the lining of your bladder and urinary tract. Think of them as little bodyguards for your system. As we age, the tissues in our bladder can become more sensitive and inflamed, which often leads to urgency and frequency. Blueberries have been shown to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation, helping the bladder stay calm and less reactive. I remember reading a story in a wellness magazine about a woman in her 70s who struggled with frequent urinary tract infections. Her doctor suggested adding more blueberries to her diet, not as a replacement for medical care, but as a supportive habit. Over time, she noticed not only fewer infections but also less nighttime urgency. She described it as feeling like my body was finally working with me instead of against me. That's the quiet power of nature's pharmacy. Blueberries also support healthy blood sugar balance, and that's important too. Fluctuating blood sugar levels can make nighttime urination worse because your kidneys work harder to filter excess glucose. By keeping your blood sugar more stable, blueberries indirectly support better bladder control. And here's a bonus, they taste delicious in so many forms. You can sprinkle them over oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, or simply enjoy a handful after dinner. Each bite is like giving your body a small gift. As we talk about these fruits, I want to acknowledge something important. Lifestyle changes take patience. If you've been dealing with nocturia for years, no single fruit will make it vanish overnight. But consistent, gentle choices can create momentum, and momentum leads to lasting change. It's like planting a seed. You water it, you give it light, you tend to it, and in time, it grows into something that nourishes you. That's the mindset I encourage you to hold as we continue. Before I introduce the third fruit, I want to take a moment to connect with you on an emotional level. Because nocturia isn't just a physical condition, it's an emotional one too. Interrupted sleep affects relationships. It can make you feel distant from your spouse if you're constantly getting up during the night. It can make you avoid social gatherings during the day because you're simply too tired. It can chip away at your sense of independence, making you feel older than your years. I've sat with older adults who told me, through tears, that the hardest part of nocturia wasn't the inconvenience, it was the feeling of being trapped in a body that no longer cooperates. If that resonates with you, please know this, you are not alone, and there are ways forward. Small, thoughtful changes, like the ones we're discussing today, can give you back a sense of control. The third fruit on our list is one you might not expect, bananas. Yes, the simple banana, something many of us have eaten since childhood, holds a quiet secret for better sleep and fewer bathroom trips. Bananas are rich in potassium and magnesium, two minerals that help relax muscles, including the muscles of the bladder. They also help regulate fluid balance in the body, preventing that restless urge to urinate at night. And here's something fascinating. Bananas contain tryptophan, an amino acid that your body uses to produce serotonin and melatonin, the same sleep-related chemicals we talked about earlier with cherries. In other words, bananas work on both the body and the mind, helping you drift into rest and stay there. I once came across a moving story about a widower in his 80s who had been struggling with nighttime awakenings for years. A friend suggested he try eating a banana about an hour before bed. At first, he laughed it off, thinking, how can something so simple make a difference? But after a few weeks, he noticed he was waking up less frequently, and when he did, it was easier to fall back asleep. He told his daughter, "It feels like I'm reclaiming the nights I thought I had lost forever." That's the beauty of simplicity. It doesn't have to be complicated to be powerful. Now, you might be wondering, should I eat all 3 of these fruits at once, or spread them throughout the day? The beauty of these foods is that they can easily be worked into your natural routine without feeling forced. For example, you could start your morning with a banana, enjoy a small handful of blueberries as an afternoon snack, and finish the evening with a few tart cherries or a small glass of tart cherry juice. That way, your body is supported around the clock. The banana gives you steady energy and mineral balance during the day, the blueberries protect your bladder and blood sugar, and the cherries help guide you gently toward sleep at night. It's almost like weaving a safety net for your body, using nature's simplest tools. And here's the thing I want you to remember, it's not just about the fruit itself, but about the ritual. So many of us, especially in our later years, find comfort in routines, whether it's having a cup of tea at a certain time, reading a favorite book before bed, or taking a short walk after dinner. Adding these fruits into your daily rhythm can become more than just a health decision, it can become a moment of care, almost like a personal promise to yourself. When you slice a banana, when you rinse those blueberries, when you savor those cherries, you're sending a message to your body, I am taking care of you. I want you to rest. I want you to heal. That mindset is powerful, and it changes how you experience the process. Now, let's talk about something practical, hydration. One of the tricky things about nocturia is that many people try to solve it by cutting back on fluids altogether. I've spoken with people who tell me, I barely drink water after lunchtime because I don't want to be up all night. While the intention makes sense, this approach often backfires. When your body doesn't get enough fluid, your urine becomes more concentrated, which can actually irritate the bladder and make the problem worse. The better approach is to drink water steadily throughout the day, keeping your body well hydrated, and then gently tapering off in the evening. Pairing that with water-rich fruits like blueberries and bananas helps maintain balance without overwhelming your bladder at night. There's another piece to this puzzle that I'd like to share, and it comes from both research and lived experience. Stress plays a huge role in nocturia. When we're anxious, our body releases stress hormones that increase bladder sensitivity. You may have noticed that on days when you're especially worried, you seem to need the bathroom more often. This is no coincidence. That's why practices like slow breathing, gentle stretching, or even quiet prayer before bed can make such a difference. And here's the wonderful part, combining these calming practices with the fruits we've discussed creates a synergy. You're calming both the body and the mind, setting the stage for rest. I'll give you an example. A gentleman I once spoke with shared his evening routine. After dinner, he'd take a short walk around his neighborhood, just 10 minutes to move his legs and breathe in the evening air. When he got home, he'd have a small bowl of yogurt with blueberries. Then, as bedtime approached, he'd eat half a banana, sip on a little tart cherry juice, and spend 5 minutes in prayer before turning off the lights. He said that once he made this routine his own, the constant bathroom interruptions dropped dramatically. More than that, he began to look forward to his evenings, because they became a time of peace rather than frustration. That's the kind of transformation we're aiming for. Of course, it's important to mention that while food is powerful, it works best alongside other healthy habits. Limiting caffeine and alcohol in the late afternoon and evening is crucial, since both can irritate the bladder and disrupt sleep. Keeping a regular bedtime, creating a calm environment in your bedroom, and listening to your body's signals all add up to a healthier sleep cycle. When you pair these habits with the 3 fruits we've discussed, the results can be life-changing. It's not about perfection. It's about giving yourself the best chance to feel rested and restored. Another question that often comes up is, how long will it take before I notice a difference? That's a wonderful question, and the answer is, it varies. For some people, improvements can be felt within a week or 2. For others, it might take a month of consistent effort before the changes become clear. The key is patience and consistency. Think of it like tending a garden. You water the soil, you pull the weeds, you trust the process, and eventually, the blossoms appear. Your body deserves the same patience. Let's also touch on something many people hesitate to bring up: embarrassment. Talking about nighttime bathroom trips can feel uncomfortable, even with close family or doctors. Some people even feel ashamed, as if it's a personal failing. But I want to tell you clearly, it's not your fault. Nocturia is incredibly common, especially with age. It can be influenced by everything from medications to hormonal changes to simple wear and tear on the bladder muscles. There's nothing shameful about it. In fact, being open about it is a sign of strength. And when you take gentle steps like adding cherries, blueberries, and bananas into your life, you're showing courage. You're saying, I care enough about my well-being to make a change. I'd like to share a story that really stayed with me. A woman in her late 60s told me that she had stopped going to her weekly church gatherings because she was too exhausted from waking up so many times at night. She said she missed the singing, the friendships, the sense of belonging, but she simply didn't have the energy anymore. After learning about natural approaches, she decided to try adding these 3 fruits to her daily routine. Within a month, her sleep had improved so much that she was back at her church, smiling and singing again. She said, "It wasn't just about the sleep, it was about getting my life back." That's the deeper impact we're talking about here. This isn't just about biology. It's about joy, connection, and the freedom to live fully. As we near the end of this discussion, let me leave you with this thought: aging is not about decline, it's about adaptation. Our bodies change, yes, but with those changes come opportunities to learn, to adjust, and to discover new rhythms of care. Something as simple as 3 fruits, cherries, blueberries, and bananas, can become part of that rhythm, gently guiding your body toward balance. They remind us that solutions don't always have to be complicated. Sometimes, the simplest choices carry the greatest wisdom. So tonight, as you prepare for bed, imagine this: you're ending your evening with a few tart cherries, maybe a slice of banana, and the quiet knowledge that you're giving your body the gift of rest. You slip under the covers, your mind calm, your bladder steady, your breath soft and even. And for the first time in a long time, you drift into sleep without fear of interruption. That image isn't just wishful thinking. It's possible, with patience, consistency, and care. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you found comfort or value in today's message, I encourage you once more to subscribe to this channel. Together, we'll continue to explore natural, compassionate ways to age with dignity, health, and peace. You deserve nights of rest and days of energy, and with small steps, you can move toward exactly that. Remember, your body is always listening to how you treat it. Treat it kindly, and it will return the kindness in ways you can feel every single day.